just entered the bear crawling nation on the No Agenda stream.
This is R. Mordant McFall, and welcome to the other side of live. Welcome everybody to the other side of live. We are live from the Gangplank Studio in Chandler, Arizona. And tonight's show is the first ever TOSOL MeetUp, the other side of live here in the state of Arizona. First of all, I want to say in the morning, No Agenda stream, and move right along to my buddy, my pal, the dark side of positive, Charles McFall. Hello, Charles. How are you?
In the morning.
That was a little loud. Sorry. I apologize. I did not mean to blast everybody. That's all right. I'll get back in my corner now.
That's okay. I want everybody that's here in the Gangplank Studio, everybody say hello.
Hello.
That's right. It is the first ever meetup, so we actually have four people. Woo! I'm very excited. It is the most we have ever had here. And, of course, you know, the thousands that are listening to us right now out there on the No Agenda stream. So what's been going on with you, my friend?
A lot of stuff. Website's down. I'm getting bombarded with work crap. I could have some fun tonight because it's been a rough day, man.
So not everything is peaches and cream with you? What's up with that?
What? It's got to be peaches because I'm in Georgia? That's statist, dude.
That's statist.
I don't know, man. That's not
I'm a
right.
statist. I am.
Now this is the dark side of chasing your dreams. Is I've got things on the horizon. You can see them. I've had my new website in the works since before Christmas, so a few months now, and it's on the verge of launching. I've got to change hosts because I keep getting virused over and over and over again, and it's a nightmare. And it's like you see the glory that is the dream that you're chasing. You can almost touch it, and you feel the weight of life just dragging you. Because I can't quit my job because I don't have a paycheck if I quit my job. But it's just devolving. Have you ever seen The Office? That movie? It's devolving more and more into that, and I'm grabbing my staple and I'm burning the building down, man. I'm getting so frustrated. I was just saying, it's when you're chasing your dream and you hit, I don't know why I call it this, I just do, but when you hit the mud, you hit that spot where you're working hard and you can see the end. The end is in sight. That is the hardest road. My wife always says when we travel, the longest part of traveling is that last hour coming home because you recognize everything and you're not home yet. That's where I feel right now.
Right. Well, you know, last week we talked about in TOSOL episode 35, we talked about life missions and setting your life and keeping it on track, you know, figuring out what are those things that you really want to develop in your life? What are those things that you really want to accomplish and become known for? What do you want people to say, you know, or have them put on your tombstone? Hey, he was a great blah. He was, you know, she was a great blah. You know, and the life missions help you identify that and then gives you those stepping stones towards moving towards that. Now, you're obviously finding a lot of rocks in the road, finding a lot, like you said, a lot of mud on the way. And all of this, brother, all this sounds like is leveling up your life. It sounds like it's, you know, it's opportunities to figure out what it is you need to do. It's just kind of strengthening you for the stuff that's to come. Because if you're getting this kind of crap, and there's no other word for it, we're sure there is, but that's the word we're going to use. You get this kind of crap. Later on, when it's such a big deal, then it's going to be a lot harder. But when you deal with it early on like this, so when it comes later, it's like, it's easy. Now, does that help right now? Maybe a little bit, but it sounds a little Pollyanna. It's just, you know, you're spinning your wheels through the mud. As long as you can get a little board under there, you can get out.
You know, first off, before I go on, I want to say Rathburn is in the room, and she's waving frantically saying, hey, Mordant, hey, Charles, hi, Gangplank people. So I wanted to pass that on. So.
Yeah, Rock Girl said hi to the Gangplank people as well. Gangplank people say hi.
Hi.
Not a male voice in the crowd. As Jeff Foxworthy says, I am swimming in the estrogen ocean.
we need to, before they leave tonight after the show, just do a nice clean recording of all of them saying hi or laughing or whatever, and we'll put it on a button on the show. So when they're not here and we need that boost, we'll just hit the button and get the hi.
Yeah, or we'll have them say something about the, no, we love the other side of live, but I think yours is better.
So, but at least I'm not having everything in life pile up. Shadow says when you add the health mess on top of that, health issues, on top of that, Gitmo say, I'm sorry, he
Yeah, I see what he's saying.
yeah. But I don't have health issues, so I'm good there. I know Gitmo has had issues, not with his own health, but he's had life piling up on him with work going south and his car blowing up and family issues. And, we were talking about it earlier today. I told him I would use it in the show. And I said, the thing is, I'm a little frustrated and down because I can see the goal, not the end. The end is the wrong phrase, isn't it? It's a goal for the next step. I can see it there, and I can feel some rest coming. But, when you're in that dark place where life is piling up there, yeah, I've been there, and what got me out of it was gripping that death. Have you ever been water skiing, Mordant?
I have.
See, I'm way too big to water ski, but I tried once, and I learned the true meaning of death grip because I got drugged in the water until I thought I was going to die, and I still didn't stand up. So I had a death grip on the goal, which was to do radio, to do podcasting, to do what I'm doing now, and that was at least 4 years ago because my daughter was a baby then when all that really came to a head. And I thought you might have some good words for people who have life piled up or, things seem dire. What gets you through? I know you've been there, man. What gets you through to the happy places?
When I'm struggling with something or I've got my, my head down and rough times are coming at me, I think for me, it's just keeping my eyes on the other side. It's easy to say, keep your eyes on the goal. Sometimes you just got to put your head down and get through it and know that this is temporary.
Well, that's why I use the word death grip, because there have been times when my eyes were off the goal, but I never let go. I kept on letting it pull me through even when I couldn't see it.
Right.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to chime in tonight, of course we have our our ladies here at Gangplank. If anybody wants to chime in tonight, the number is 813-413-7133. And I just want to give out to Gitmo Slave. I'm looking at our butt monitor, and everything's in the green, and so I'm not sure exactly where we should change things to make it better for your experience.
So speaking of experience, since we do have, this is the first ever TOSOL Live meetup, I would like to hear and field some questions and comments from the group in house.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? They're all quiet. Nobody's looking at me. They're all pointedly looking away, avoiding my eye contact. They're all blushing. The one person who's staring at me is because she can't look away. She's got this deer in the headlights looked at. Does anybody have any questions for the other side of live or any comments you want to make?
No, I was going to say put on the spot. Yeah, I'm no good. It's all you.
I don't have any questions because I am familiar with the other side of live. I've watched almost all of your podcasts, so I'm very comfortable. But I do understand about the death grip, and I know I'm actually a cancer survivor. I had childhood cancer, so I completely understand that you just feel like you can't go anymore, but you've got to hold on.
So what helps you get through that, or if you're going through anything currently, what helps you get through that?
Because that is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life, it's easy for me to take everything with a grain of salt now. I feel like since I've conquered that, I'm at the point where I feel nothing else can keep me down. That's how I thought. I just took my LSATs for law school. So I brought that in mind. It's like, if I can deal with taking all these treatments for it, then I can deal with this one test. And it's a great accomplishment when you do have that death grip and you manage to be able to let go because you finally make it. So I can completely understand, and it's a great encouragement. And keep trying because you will get there.
Awesome. Very good words, very strong words. How does everybody else feel about that in the room?
Actually, I can agree exactly with what she said. Going for the last 2 years I did. I also myself went through cancer, beat cancer, went through divorce, and found out my daughter had a brain tumor and became blind because of the brain tumor. Fighting through all that, the one thing I kept my mind going was my kids being my strength, knowing that I got to be there for them. I got to be their strength, and you just have to make it through one day at a time. And once you get there, you get there. And for this whole time, my therapy was writing, and that was my goal, to become a published author, and here I am now. It's totally all about having that one thing, that one dream to hold on to. And people will tell you all the time, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's a far-fetched hobby. You'll never get there. There's too many people. And I kept saying, you're wrong. You're wrong. If I can beat this, if my daughter can beat that, I can become this. And you know what? We have. We've done this together. We've done it. I've held on. And here I am today, and here she is today. And we're both surviving and living and loving and, making the best of life. I mean, all you can do is just hang on to your dreams. They're yours. They're nobody else's. Nobody has the right to take it away from you. Mm-hmm.
There's two questions I want to ask with that, because my friend today, a longtime friend of mine, I've known him for years, called me up and said that he's going in tomorrow for a biopsy. He has 3 major lumps in his abdomen, and they believe it's lymphoma. And he was kind of doing the whole brace your thing, because you know, when you've broken the news to somebody, you get the, oh my God, that's horrible, and I'm so sorry. And I guess he was kind of definitely didn't want that, but he's kind of bracing himself for it. I'm like, dude, if you're going to get cancer, man, you get the rock star cancer. You do that right. And it cheered him up. And we talked about it, but the question that comes from, he did it, of course, he starts looking on the internet like you do. And the statistics say that you get about 5 to 7 years if it's actually lymphoma and they do the treatment, blah, blah, blah. Most survivors do 5 to 7 years. Have you found, in your experience with cancer or with family members who have cancer, have any of you found that those who succeed, those who beat the cancer, those who get further, is because they don't listen to statistics, they ignore the doctors, and they just say, I'm going to live my life?
Absolutely.
It is all about willpower. When I found out, I was 10 years old when I was diagnosed. And the fact that I wouldn't be able to grow up and do what I wanted to do, even back then where I was just thinking like prom and graduating high school, the fact that I told myself, I will not let this beat me, and I kept thinking that, it's all about willpower. If you tell yourself, oh my God, I have it, chances are that's how your body is going to work. You're going to end up developing it. But if you have it and you tell yourself, no, I do not have this, I will not let it beat me and take me down, then all of a sudden it's a whole different story. It's a whole different battle. The cards are yours, and you can overcome it.
Absolutely. I can agree with you more.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Now,
it's your attitude. It's how you look at it. If it's going to be positive,
right.
You're going to get through it.
Right, exactly what I was telling. I was like, man, forget WebMD, forget that stuff. I mean, nobody who's ever beat cancer, nobody who's ever walked again says, well, the doctor said that I'd probably walk, so I did. They've always said the doctor said I would not survive. I would not walk again. And here I am 10, 20, whatever years later, and I beat it. It's because they don't listen. So I gave them the whole positive thing. But my other question was, did you find that before you had cancer, or your family members had cancer, before that, you ignored all the breast cancer awareness or the cancer funds, and then afterwards you got involved? Or was it something that even afterwards you still just lived your life?
Oh boy, yeah. There were only a couple that I was very hard-pressed to work with, and it was the Heart Association of America and diabetes, because of friends and family members being affected with it. As far as cancer went, I honestly never thought I was going to get it until the worst part of my life started happening, and then I dwelled on it. Since then, I've actually started brain tumor awareness because it's so unknown, and my cancer was, uterine cancer, so it's a little bit different. I swear, my biggest thing is acknowledging what it was, not letting it eat me alive, finding more information on it to pass it and make more people aware of it, because so many people are unaware of what it does to you. But I'm just a plain rebellious little punk. I refuse to let anything beat me down. And that's what you need. And I'm sure you can say the same thing. It's
that's
rebellion.
What you gotta do. You can't think of it as the human killer. It's not a killer disease, because it can be overcome and you can beat it. Again, you just have to have that willpower and that sense of thought.
Right on for rebellions.
So how everybody's a cancer survivor. Now, how many of you let go of that? How many of you is that you don't, from what I've known, this is the first I've heard of it from any of you. None of you lead with that. And I've met a lot of cancer survivors. Maybe they're just mostly recently survived. But a lot of them, they're like, hey, I'm a cancer survivor. My name is blah, I'm a cancer survivor. I've never heard that from any of you. That's not who you are. That doesn't it doesn't define you. You have, you're a writer. You're a girl with a big dog.
Hey, it's a
There is big
family
dog
show.
in the studio right now, who's being very quiet and very docile on the floor, which is good. But none of you have led with, hey, I'm a cancer survivor. And our dear friend Ronnie Rocks is also a cancer survivor, and she talks about how you have to move beyond it. It's like the alcoholic who once they go to AA and are done with it, many of them are like, they'll just dredge it up. Oh, I was so bad when I was like this, and my alcoholism was like this, as opposed to thinking about, this is what I'm stretching for towards the future. You're a lawyer. You're studying to be a lawyer. You're going to be, you are a writer. So those are the how I know you two. So there's a big difference. And when you let go of it, I think there's a power with that too. Then you're not just holding on to the cancer because it gives, you get attention that way. And then you're not stirring the quantum soup of reality and the universe saying, no, let me have a little bit more of that so that, so I still get that attention. So what have you found with that?
I find, I didn't want people to pity me. I actually didn't tell anybody aside from my husband at the time that I had cancer. I didn't tell anybody until after the surgery I had to remove it, like about a month later. I said, yeah, I had it because I had cancer. That's why I had the surgery. And I had a lot of people floored and flabbergasted saying, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I didn't want your pity. I knew I'd beat it. And I found with my daughter being legally blind now after her brain tumor, she doesn't like being labeled. And she's 8 years old and she'll tell you, don't label me. I'm not blind. And let me tell you, she's the best self-advocate I've ever seen in a child. She doesn't let it define her. It's just something that is. She can't help it, but she doesn't let it define her. Just like being a cancer survivor does not define me. I don't like pity. I don't want to be called a cancer survivor. I'm just me. I'm just me. That's all there is to it. There's just a whole lot of me, but it's just me.
Actually, most of my friends that I met in high school and college didn't know I had it until a movie night. We went to go see, I didn't have a say in the movie, I didn't know what we were seeing. We went to go see that 50-50 movie, and I couldn't make it halfway through, I had to leave. And afterward, they all came out going, why, because I was sobbing. I'm like, why are you so upset? What's going on? And I hadn't told them. And the movie hit me hard, and that's when they're like, oh my God, I had no idea. You should have said something. And I'm like, no, why? And it's in my past, I've conquered it.
Exactly. Makes us stronger. Yeah, we conquered it. We don't look back, and it is what it is.
Have you ever thought about going to a group of people who are in the thick of it or just coming out of it and letting them know, here's what life beyond looks like? Have you ever thought about being those, Yeah,
I've gotten in touch with a lot of people that are either going through it at the beginning stages or middle stages, and a few people afterwards. And for the majority of it, when they're starting going through it and they're in that devastation point of, oh my God, I just found out I have cancer, it's the end of my life. And I sit there and I come from a logical standpoint because I do have a great medical background. And I'm like, okay, well, let's break it down. Let's see what stage you're at, what kind it is, blah, blah, blah. I go, you know what? Once you know the basics of your medical aspect of it, it kind of takes away the romanticism of being sick. Because now you're looking at it from a very logical point and it's like, oh, shit. Oh, sorry. And they go to that point of, okay, you beat it, how am I going to beat it? And I just tell them, go kick it in its behind. Tell it you don't want it. Just go for it. If you sit here and dwell that, oh my God, I'm sick, I'm dying, you're not going to get past it. It's going to make you worse because you're going to slip into that depression and it's going to eat you alive and that's when you give up. I tell them, go out, go live life. Go do things you'd never in a million years do. Yeah, you may not feel the greatest, but go do it because once you're in it, you're going to have a good time, you're going to feel good. You keep feeling good, you're not going to think about it. You're not thinking about it, your body's going to start healing, so on and so forth.
Well, I have a friend, she's known me since my children were small, Susan. Mm-hmm. She just emailed me saying that she's been diagnosed with gallbladder cancer. Mm-hmm. The woman has an aneurysm in her brain she's lived with for 15 years. She's living on borrowed time anyway. But when she told me she had cancer, I said, you can do this. There's nothing you can't beat. Mm-hmm. And she happens to have the same birthday as you, December 21st. So she made a joke. She goes, I really hope it's not the end of the world on December 21st. And I went, the humor will get you through. But it's just, it's devastating to them as well. And watching her go through all this is hard. I never had cancer. I've had other things. But it's all in how you look at it. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, any of us. So if you look at it and it's positive, strong, I can do this. You'll survive.
Getting back to what Melissa said, I agree in that if you find that you're waylaid with something like this, definitely now's the time to go out and do those things that you've always wanted to do. One of my favorite songs, and at the time it came out, it was my favorite song, is Tim McGraw's "Live Like You Were Dying," which, if you listen to it, he actually wrote the song when his father was passing away, and I'm not sure if he had cancer or what. But go out and do those things that you don't think you're able to do, because now is the time for that. Now is the time to live your life to the fullest. And because you are going to appreciate this more than other people will. You will have a deeper understanding of how sweet each moment is than anybody else. So go out and burn that candle a little brighter, because that's what life is for. Life is for the experience. Go out and get experience. Jimi Hendrix said, "Are you experienced?" I think it's time for all of us, even those of us who are not going through that hard of a time with things. You should go out and experience life, enjoy it. We've said it in a couple of podcasts earlier, which is fail forward. Don't hold back going, "Oh, I'm so afraid of screwing things up that I don't want to try anything." Go and mess things up. Fail real big, fail real good. So you get out there and you try and you get your hands dirty and you're like, you know what? In the middle of all this, I'm not doing real well, but I am having a good time. I'm sure it's kind of my philosophy right now. And I'm certainly doing it with, the radio show. I know Charles and I are having a good time doing this. There are a couple of other things that we're just like, let's try this. I'm sure this will work. Oh, it didn't. Well, we recorded it on video, so it was funny. Whatever.
It goes that positively when we get upset. But you mentioned a song. My favorite song, I think, really applies to you, that I've lived my life by as much as I can, is by Saliva. It's a kind of a hard rock metal band. But the line is, "I got to get on with living or get the hell on with dying." And I choose the first. It's the choice. That's the real. Is that not the ultimate choice you have to make in life?
Yeah, whether you're gonna live this life or just take up breathing space. And I think all of us at some point are just taking up breathing space. Sometimes it's just because we're tired. Sometimes because we just don't know what to do. Sometimes it's just because we don't know any better, or we're just too lazy. When we do know better, I don't want to do anything until we're faced with that. Oh wow, I only have this finite amount of time left. What have I not done? What am I looking back on? And wow, I had a rich life. Or what am I regretting? You mentioned that band and a song, Shadow 42, chimed in. Sounds like my band. Mm-hmm. So I know that he's making music out there and having a good time. Once again, 813-413-7133. If you want to chime in on this conversation or just say hello.
I do.
Just like the girls from Gangplank say hello.
Hello.
I do want to go to Rathburn here in the room. She says, my favorite thing a doctor has ever said to me, "Oh, no, you don't have that. You're too young." And they proceeded to ignore me about what I was telling him. And Shadow says he's been there, done that, in some ways doing it now. Rock Girl says doctors can be stupid. Rathburn says, "Oh, I ignored him and came back another day to a different doctor, and that guy actually listened," which is key. That's key to your survival. That's key to your health, or your emotional health, or your mental health, your marriage, everything, your work. I'm frustrated at my job right now because I feel like zero people listen to me. I feel like nothing I do matters, and that's more frustrating than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And I think that ties in with the doctor. And it's all about me. Talk about me. Now I feel bad. Why are y'all quiet? We'll keep talking.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, you know what? Way. This is getting off topic just because, we're like this and squirrel.
And quick. He says, yep. Musical Blades. Hello. Shakes his head sadly.
Yeah, that's from Shadow 42. Yep. That is his band, Musical Blades. If you want to look for it, you can find it at musicalblades.com. If I'm wrong, he will correct me. Speaking of people getting in touch with us and leaving messages, we now have a speak pipe on theothersideoflive.com. And what that means is you can go to theothersideoflive.com and you look to the far right and it says leave voicemail, and you click on that and you can leave us a voicemail. And you can say hello, please tell us who you are, and hopefully you'll have something to say. A little more, or a question that you can leave us with. We might actually record it and put it on the air. If you ask us not to, we might not, but we might do it anyways because we're like that. So check it out on theothersideoflive.com. Far to the right, it's our little speak pipe. It's your voice to us.
And a little caveat there, just because people hear voicemail, they think about numbers and calling. All you have to have is a built-in microphone in your tablet, your laptop, even in your smartphone. That's it. It's simple as that. That's why we're promoting it. It's a lot easier than trying to remember a number or calling in or any of the other stuff. It's literally just hit the button. It'll say, "Can I use your microphone?" You say yes, and you're done. And when you hit stop, it's over. You don't have to worry about anything else there.
All right. We actually have a caller right now, and I'm not sure if it's a caller that I have to prep for. It's somebody that's been listening in. Hello, 443.
Hello, this is Louie. Hello.
Louie. That's awesome. Everybody, this is Louie Skaradek. Am I saying it right?
Yes, sir, you are. Hi, how you guys doing out there? I've been listening for a while.
We're doing great, and Louie is also one of my Ren friends out there. He is with a group called the London Broil, but he's also changing his life a little bit. And I asked him to call in tonight and let us know some of the stuff that he's been going through. It's a little more upbeat than what we've been talking about, so we're going to switch tracks for just a little bit. Louie, you have the air. Go for it.
Yes, yeah. At first, when I was listening, I was like, I don't know if a comedy show is going to fit into where the show's going this evening, but of course, humor always works.
Absolutely.
I've been, some of what you said, the failing forward thing, that really stuck in my mind a little bit, because what we've been up to outside of London Broil is doing some stand-up comedy with our friends and working together with them and kind of pushing our boundaries. And one of the things that held me back for so long in this endeavor was the fear of failing. I was just stuck for a while, like, I can't do that. That's not me. But I changed that. I changed that attitude. One day we started doing it, and then I realized I should have been doing this years earlier. It seems like everybody who gets involved in something that they really enjoy ends up saying, I should have started 2 years ago. I should have started when I had the idea instead of waiting and waiting for it to happen.
Now, how long ago did you start doing this, actually start doing stand-up?
It's about 1.5 years now we've started doing stand-up.
Yeah, I saw you guys in the beginning of the year last year and just one local comedy club. And then I saw everybody, and you guys did it all year long, doing different places around the country. And then you finally put on a show when we all got together at the end of the year in North Carolina. And that was just, for me, that was phenomenal. Even the comedy club was blown away by it, that they're like, you have an open invitation anytime you want to come back or anywhere else that we own in the country.
Yeah, it was very, very cool to get that feedback and have friends who saw us go through that process, because that's part of what it's about too, like being there for people and showing them there's a way to follow your dreams, and it isn't just a pipe dream. You can turn those pipe dreams into real dreams, as Frank of Bells likes to say.
Right. Now, what was the when you first stepped up? What was that like?
It was frightening. I think, of course, being on the road and working at the Renaissance festivals prepares you a little bit for being in front of people and being in front of a crowd, but it's a different beast when you're all alone for the first time stepping up to do something. I remember my first couple times were very nervous and very fast. I was overwhelmed. So my character was, I'm going to talk really fast and go through everything as if I got to get out of here in 2 minutes. It was amazing how much I put out probably about an 8 to 10 minute set, squished down to about 3 minutes. So after those first couple times of being nervous, you get used to it, just like everything. You do it a few times, you get used to it, you start to have fun with it, you grow with it, and then you finally start to explore what you really want to do in it. Like, I'm at a point now where I can actually relax and be like, who is my character? Who am I doing? What's my point of view? Where am I coming from in this? Which is, I never thought I'd get to this point, or even that the stand-up comedy world had this opportunity for me.
Right. Now, you were at the show that I saw, you were the MC of the show.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that decided that you were going to do that? I mean, there's some pretty clever guys and girl on stage with you. So where did it come up? Hey, let's get Louie to do it.
I think we decided that just in a personality thing. I kind of get along with a lot of people. I have a lot of different friends from a lot of different cliques and stuff. So I was, I kind of stepped up for it. Nobody else was really wanting to quite grab that bull and ride it. And I was like, this seems exciting to me. I want to introduce my friends, some of my jokes can go in between things. I don't need like one whole big long story to tell my set and stuff. I kind of just jumped in there and was like, I volunteered for it. And then once I volunteered for it, it was given to me. You know, we're switching it up for our next show. Jeremy Jackson from Vegetable Justice, he is going to be the host at our show coming up in Scottsdale.
Yeah, and he has the chops for that?
Yeah, he does have the chops right. He's a little nervous. After I did my set, people were like, oh, that was a great way to host, Louis. So they have to live up to that, but I think everybody's capable of doing that. It's a different beast, though. Like, hosting something is different than being the talent of something. You have to be a little more giving to the audience. You have to have a little give and take with them. You got to have a little repartee with them. You have to not insult anybody. You got to be playful. Like, I really enjoyed that sort of back and forth with everybody, cleansing the palate in between the different comics.
Yeah, actually, I know that Jeremy can do this because I've seen him work. I just wanted to see what you had to say about it.
Yeah. I'm slightly nervous, but I think he's going to do a good job. I'm only nervous because he's slightly nervous. You know how that goes. Like, when your friend is slightly nervous, then you kind of pick up on that vibe a little bit.
Yeah, well, you talked about it earlier, and Toastmasters calls it systematic desensitization, where you just expose yourself to something over and over and over, and eventually you're like, this is no big deal. You know, people don't understand that we perform in front of thousands of people, and yet you change it up a little bit. It's very nervous. You're very nervous about it.
Yeah, because it's like a new little thing you're putting out there. You don't know how people are going to react to it. You don't know what the feedback is going to be, and that natural inclination is to think the worst or something, or think like this is going to fail, or my new idea isn't going to make it. But you've got to put it out there, and that's what does it. Like, you put it out there and you get the feedback, and that's what allows growth to happen.
Right. Now, do you have any suggestions or anything for anybody who's up and coming, whether it's stand-up comedy or just going out and failing forward? Do you have any advice for them?
You know, like you said, the fail forward thing is very important. You have to put something out there. It's a lot of people sit back and complain about things, or they say, I'd like to do it this way, or if I was in charge, I'd do it this way. You have to put yourself in that position. You actually have to make that choice one day when you're sitting down and go, next week I'm going to do it. You have to call up the places. And I suggest finding a buddy or a mentor to work with, somebody that is going to hold you accountable to make those next steps, somebody where you can like go back and forth with and be like, hey, you know, I want to do this. Will you make sure I follow through with this by being there for me, and I'll help you follow through on something you want to try to do. So I really think the friendship thing in this endeavor really helps.
Who was your mentor?
Well, for me, it was the other stand-up guys. You know, there were 6 of us at the time going into it, and we kind of had a group of us, so we kind of egged each other on a little bit. And at first, we were all a little nervous about it, but then when you see somebody else going through it, and the other guys in the group kind of pushed me along. And also, one guy who really helped me along my way, I would say my main mentor, was Spencer Hum of Hack and Slash.
He started Spencer.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Charles, go ahead.
Go on. Whoa.
Oh, no, this is your shot, brother.
Double go ahead. Spencer Hum was definitely the guy who kind of in the process. He was the first guy to allow space for me to try doing stand-up. He got the audience together, and he was like, I'll give you the time, and then he gave me some pointers. We talked about things. He kind of led me through the beginning of it. So I have him to thank for kind of pushing me into that world where I wasn't pushing myself. I wanted it, but I wasn't quite pushing myself. Having somebody there really helped.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you. For me, it's working with Charles, which has helped me be able to do the radio thing and moving forward with all of this kind of stuff. And even the other getting up and speaking and all that, he'll kind of, prod me and push me along. But Charles, do you have any questions or anything you want to say for Louis?
Yeah, last spring, our Mordant Mon was here in the Bears Den, and he goes, man, my friends do this great comedy podcast, and you should listen to it. And I went and listened to it, and I liked the fan page, and then it disappeared. What happened?
What? The DML podcast show?
Yeah, it disappeared for a while.
Yeah, it's the DML podcast is still going up. Thank you, Charles. Have you heard any of them yet?
Not recently. It was right at the end of May or June of last year, and then there wasn't any put out for a while. I think y'all were doing other shows or something, and then I got sidetracked.
Yeah, exactly. Well, go back to a DML podcast show. We are on iTunes. So if you go to iTunes, DML, Duncan, Matt, Louie podcast, we have about 22 episodes up there. Like seeing you guys go through this and tuning in with you guys throughout the year and hearing you do it, that also helps spur me on. Hearing you guys go at it and step at a time and hearing your different episodes, it's always neat to hear somebody else doing it. So thank you guys for kind of pushing us along in that way, too. It's friends helping friends.
Now, let me ask you, how do you feel that podcasting has set for all of you guys to move forward in what you want to do? How's it helped the comedy? How's it helped your show? How's it helped you get out there or refine or anything?
To show the world. Yeah, we thought of it as like a product that we're putting out there for free. So if anybody asks, what do you do? How are you funny? How would you work for me? We could send them to that and go, here are podcast episodes. If you sit down and listen to us for a while, you can get a feel for who we are, who our characters are, our perspective on things, what our funny is. So we're kind of using it as a stepping stone to possibly radio shows or producing content for money at some point. But we felt we needed to get 10 to 20 episodes just to get that vibe correct for a while.
That's cool. You're working hard on it, and I like to hear that. I do. I love my passion is podcasting. I think it can help anybody, especially people who have a craft like yours with the stage show or stand-up comedy. And I've not actually been fortunate enough to see your show because I've only been going to the Georgia shows, and you guys have not been here.
No, not been there. But maybe at some point you can check us out. You know, we'll cross paths. I think we've, like you said, in the past we've almost crossed paths. So I think in the future it's destined.
Cool.
Well, maybe, Charles, we can get you to come out to the Carolina Renaissance Festival because they perform there.
That's kind of on the menu this year. We'll have to see how it works out.
Awesome. I'll get you some tickets. I know people.
He does know people. That's awesome. All right, Gangplank girls, do you have any questions for Louie? Say hi to Louie.
Hi, Louie.
Hi, ladies. Awesome.
Do you have any questions for him? They're all being shy again. All right, Louie, why don't you go ahead and pimp yourself out and tell us about your show that's coming up.
Okay, March 27th and 28th at Stand Up Scottsdale, we're doing a show, Almost Homeless Comedy Tour, like the one you saw in North Carolina. We're switching the lineup. We're going to have new material, and we're going to have a guest in from the local comedy scene. There's a great local comedy scene out here in Arizona. Anybody who's in Arizona, check it out. Hidden House, The Turf, Film Bar, and Monkey Pants. They have open mic nights. You can go up and try out for yourself. Give them a call. They would be happy to put you on the list. But our show is March 27th and 28th, Almost Homeless Comedy Tour. And thank you guys very much for having me on. And once again, I really enjoy what you guys are doing and how you're helping the whole community. Thank you,
Louie. But Louie, where do they get tickets from? Because I think you have to do it online. You said they're going to be sold out.
Yeah, standupscottsdale.com, and then there's a ticket section right in there.
All right, there you go. Almost Homeless Comedy Tour. Thank you, Louie. Thanks for calling in. You are awesome, my friend. I will see you maybe tomorrow night if you're going to the Funky Formal.
Excellent. I'll see you there. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Charles. And thank you, ladies. Have a great rest of the podcast, guys.
Say good night, Louie.
Good night, Louie.
Wow.
This is awesome.
Bye, guys.
No, dude, okay, I just came up with a genius producer moment. I really should put it in the back channel, but I just can't. I have to say it out loud. That's the end of the show. They get to say ciao, dream catchers.
Okay, we'll work on that. Okay, let me see. I think he's gone. And cool. What'd you think about all that? That's pretty cool. I have friends who are going out there and stepping it up, doing something that I looked at it and went, wow, that's really interesting. And if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, boy, that sounds like that would be fun. And watching them work the craft and watching them get better and starting off. And some of them I got to see in the very beginning of everything they do. And then by the end of the year, they're fantastic people. Everybody say hi to, it's Kirsten who just stepped in. Say hi, Kirsten.
Hi, Kirsten.
Okay. So we are now up to 5 women in the room, and it's just getting the, and a dog. Is it a girl dog or a boy dog? It's a girl dog. Great.
So you're just a pamper.
I'm just a what? I can't believe she just said that. Okay. Okay, I will try to get them to do that. Charles is sending private messages.
No. So let's. I know there's a way to tie this together, and I believe the ladies will have the power to do this.
All right, hang on. Before you do that, let me throw it out. 813-413-7133. Thank you, Charles. Go.
How do you go from conquering cancer or anything else in life? Because I always say pain is pain. Overcoming obstacles is overcoming obstacles. Cancer throws you off. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. This is definitely the one night I just don't want to be heard wrong. I'm not trivializing cancer. But I know it's easy for us to go, wow, you defeated cancer. You're a hero. And from what I'm hearing in your stories is, I'm not a hero. This is not my identity. That was then. This is now. I'm overcoming other obstacles now. You know, what advice, how do I phrase this? How do you go to catching and chasing your dreams and tying that in with overcoming the obstacle of cancer without being, a negative Nancy or however you want to say it?
Well, I think sometimes, and okay, I'm going to get a little woo-woo. So everybody be careful. Uncle Mordant's getting a little woo-woo. I think sometimes we get sick when we're not doing what we should be doing. When you're following the grind of your job, and don't get me wrong, I am so much in favor of family first. Take care of your, business. Take care of your bread and butter job so you can support your family, et cetera, et cetera. But when what you're doing is eating your soul, when what you're doing, and you're like, well, I wish I could do this, but I'll put that off. And there have been cases, and I'm not going to say there's many cases because that's not fair to people who are going through this, and you have to go through the medicine route and all that. But there have been cases of people who were just like, okay, look, I have cancer, and they say it's there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm going down this road. Well, then I'm not going to do this stupid job I'm doing anymore. I'm going to go to do what I always wanted to do. I'm going to, be that writer. I'm going to do stand-up. I'm going to go do whatever it is. And then when they start pouring their life into it, suddenly there's that recession. Suddenly, whether it's because they feel better about themselves, whether it's because there's more laughter in their life, or whatever, sometimes the cancer goes away. Sometimes it doesn't, but you're still living a richer life. So how do you bring those two together? Well, life is about the experiences you're having. And yeah, we have to take care of bills. Yeah, we have to take care of family and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, your experience is your responsibility. And whether you're living healthy and everything's great, or you're sick as a dog and you don't know how many days you have left, you should be looking at trying to at least put something in your life that you want to do, something that you're passionate about, something that makes this life worth living, something that makes it rich for you so that you're really enjoying it, something that brings you joy. So I think that's where it all ties in. And sometimes the sickness is a reminder, whether it's God, the universe, or just life going smacking you on the back of the head and saying, wake up. Do something you enjoy while you have this time, because you don't have much time, whether it's 80 years or 20 years. I think there was a quote in the Sandman series where Death says, you get what everybody gets. You get a lifetime. So whether that's, just a couple of years, a moment, or, 90, you get a lifetime. It's up to you what you do with it.
I'm reminded of an actual Bible story of, I want to say it's Jacob. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's Jacob wrestled with the angel, and the whole thing was he wanted to be blessed. That was his thing. That was the big thing back in the day, of course. But he had to be blessed, and the angel came, and he wouldn't. I said, I won't let you go until you bless me. And the story goes that they wrestled all night, even to the point that he just would not let go. And the angel, I think, has dislocated his hip basically. And he still wrestled. And then when the sun came up, he wouldn't let go. And then he got his blessing. The angel blessed him. And I think it's a lot of people in religious circles will look at Bible stories and they'll look at cancer, or they'll look at the tough times that you're going through. And what you said in a positive way, I've heard in a negative way many, many times from the church of, what is God trying to tell you? What are you doing wrong? And that's not the story. Look at the story. The angel, which some say is a form of Jesus, I don't know. But the angel here in the story physically harmed him, dislocated his hip, and he still wouldn't let go. And it wasn't to be mean. It wasn't to be negative or ugly. It was to see what you can overcome. And he was strong, and he got his blessing. And if you believe the stories, the blessing changed his life. It would carry on to his future children. And it's, I guess, in terms of achieving that dream, it's us catching our freedom. That would be our blessing, wouldn't it? It'd be catching what we want. Our kids' lives will be totally different after that, and their kids' lives. And so it's changing your destiny.
I think it goes back to how bad do you want it? You know, you're talking about, hey, look, I'm following my dreams, and we did our life missions last week and all that, and all of a sudden you're spinning in the mud. Sometimes it's there. How bad do you want it? And I've said these examples before, but I'm going to bring them up again. Examples before, but I'm going to bring them up again. Examples before, but I'm going to bring them up again. Examples before, but I'm going to bring them up again. Examples before, but I'm going to bring them up again. Examples